Good evening, and assalamu alaikum. Welcome. I am Rhadiyah, and I'm here to share with you two campaigns. The Now We Know Awareness campaign, where we go around the country and the world, we're global now, international, talking about the sanitary napkin industry and how it's been affecting women adversely. And then we're also going to talk about prostate care awareness and our Right to Fight campaign. So first, we'll talk about the Now We Know Awareness campaign. And as you see here, many of you know what this is, or what these are. But what you may not know, in regards to this one, if you, those of you who buy sanitary napkins, excuse me, if you notice, or maybe you haven't, that there is not any ingredient listing, there's no expiration date. Yet when you open it, each pack, each sanitary napkin is already open. And the particular reason why that's open is because what I've noticed, and you all can do your own independent research, perhaps WebMD, that would be the most preferred and accurate. But if you want to look up the harmful effects of sanitary napkins, but the grade of adhesive that they use to seal the packaging of the sanitary napkins is the same grade as that of duct tape. So I've seen pictures where the people who make these are suited up, meaning from head to toe, they have a mask and everything, the white suits. So that lets you know just how harmful those chemicals are. So just suppose they decided to seal this. Well, if they did that, it would cause the pad to expand. So it needs to breathe so that the chemicals can be released. So that is why it's open. So what we're going to do first is to test the absorbency of this particular pad. Okay, before we do that, I want you to notice this is false advertising because it says it's a 10-hour pad. Every time that I do these demos, I ask women, have they worn a pad for 10 hours? And each one of them tell me no. And they're disgusted by my having asked them that because they change so many times in the day. On average, 4 to 6, some more than that. Some are wearing 2 pads at a time because their flow is so heavy. So just wanted to share that with you, and we're going to prove that this is false advertisement with this absorbency test. So what we're going to do with this first one, the competitor's pad, is open it up so that you can notice the pad. I don't know, you can't really see how well that is. It's better. That's better. Wait, okay, yeah, that's no, I had it on this, yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is come up live and personal, let you see the pad, and I'm gonna have someone to feel the pad and tell you just what she's noticed.
Rough.
Very rough. So we'll talk about that too. Inshallah. And so, if you notice, our pad is much thinner, much smaller. And we're going to test the absorbency of this pad as well. Inshallah. Stickers off here. And I'm going to show you, again, live and up front and close and personal. This is what our pad actually looks like. Feel the difference?
Much softer.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so when this pad was first being tested, it was a beta test with women There was over 300 women in the Dominican Republic who were given a pack of the pads, what we call the day pads, and they only have 10 in them. And each woman that tried the pads only needed that one pack. So that lets you know that basically 10 is all you need. And some of them didn't even finish the whole pack. So, and we'll talk about that also. But what the OBGYNs discovered or have been telling us is that women excrete between 15 to 50 milliliters of blood per day on average. Now I know I've come across, when I do these demos, there are women who are much heavier and they're excreting much more than that, but we're just going to deal with the average. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 50 milliliters of water in, if I can get it in here. It's difficult to do standing up. Okay, let's see, did it make it? Okay, so that's about 50 milliliters.
Yep, about.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that on the first pad. And what we do to one pad, we're going to do it to the other. So again, another 50. Well, let me do like my son, and he drives me nuts with this. Okay. Saturating the pad, and then like I said, we're going to begin to test the absorbency. Okay, put that to the side, and now I'll place this napkin on the competitor's pad, and then on our pad. And if you could come up, if you don't mind, and do both. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, and yours? All right.
Can't
Did you eat your Wheaties?
Oh yeah, and more. Okay.
All right. Here we go. Sisters, ladies, men, this is why we as women change as often as we do. Because we're wet almost instantly. If we laugh or sneeze or cough, so much comes out instantly. So this is why we need to change 4 to 6 or more times a day. So as you see here, there's nothing on it. So this is letting you know, false advertisement. It says 10 hours, this didn't, we just put water on here, it didn't last 10 minutes, okay? So now we're going to dissect the pads. I thought I was done with that when I graduated high school. But this is all good. It's about educating and making others aware, so that's fine. So you're watching me, you could do the same thing. Take your pad apart. Get to know your pad even better. Okay? As you see here, you can't really tell what the materials are, but you can feel the roughness.
I don't touch it.
When we put this, if you notice, if we put this on our skin, if I keep doing this for an amount of time, my skin will become irritated. And the reason being is because it's synthetic materials. So a lot of us, we get irritated, we break out, we itch, very uncomfortable, irritable. absorbency system. The first layer of it anyway. As you see here, it's nothing but dye that gets activated once it becomes wet. And dye is not supposed to be fit for human consumption, but yet this is what we put on our body. Okay? And so, what do you all think this is?
Looks like cotton.
Looks like cotton, but it's not. This is recycled trash from the landfills, okay? That is taken through an 8-system bleaching process in order to make sure that it appears to be cotton, okay? So now, between these 2 cups, which one has the least amount of water?
The one on my right.
Okay, so we're gonna put this in here along with the absorbency strip. Put it all the way at the bottom. See what it's gonna do. And then we're gonna talk about this bottom layer. Does this look familiar? Does it sound familiar?
Grocery bag.
Yeah. We have Kroger's and Publix, and every grocery store uses these. Well, everything that was meant to come out of us, toxins, our blood. You know, we as humans have our body temperature is 98.6. So we have that going on. The blue dye, the recycled trash, all in this pad. And it's fine when we're standing up or laying down because the flow, that's when we have the flow. But the moment that we sit down, it goes back up into the bloodstream. Everything that came out of you goes right back up into your bloodstream and then some. Because, like I said, you have the blue dye, you have the recycled trash, and the bleach from that recycled trash, and this trash bag. Literally, it's a trash bag. And so, many women, after their cycles, they're finding themselves in need of diflucan so that they can combat a yeast infection. And so now we're going to talk about the Cherish pad. That's what our pad is called. I'm sure many of you have seen Brother Amin doing this viral Facebook Live video. And this is what our first layer looks like. Looks slightly different, or quite different. Want to feel that?
Yes, soft. Soft to the touch.
And it's not wet.
Soft and dry.
So now, we're going to get into talking about what we call the microchip of the pad, which is this algae strip. If you know anything about algae or anything green, it's designed to pH balance the body. And so not only does it have that feature, but 3 additional ones. It has nano-silver technology, it has infrared technology, as well as what we call the vitamins of the air. As you know, for those of you that are here in Georgia, we recently had the past 2 days where it was storming in some areas. So we know that when a storm comes, it can cause a lot of havoc, a lot of chaos in the earth. But the moment that the storm passes or stops, there's calmness on the earth. Okay, and that's what the impact of these strips do for us as women. And just so you know, the reason that a woman experiences pain or uncomfortability during that time in wearing the commercial pads is because the uterus contracts. And this, with the ingredients on the algae strip, I can't think of the word.
The infrared?
No.
The So
No.
the negative
Yes, negative ions. Excuse me. Yes, the negative ions. I had a senior moment. So the negative ions is what is the vitamins of the air. When you go to the beach, you go to a natural waterfall, there's nothing but calmness. And this helps to calm the uterus. Okay? So now, on to talking about our absorbency system. Our absorbency system is so special that it is in an extra layer of protection called airlay. And when I have women to touch this, many of them who've had children or take care of children say that it feels like a baby wipe.
Nice and soft, cool.
Okay, so now with this water that has the most in it, we're going to take our absorbency system and put it in there and let it do its thing. And move on to talking about the bottom layer of ours. As you see here, maybe you can't, let me see. Yeah, there's the 4 tracks. There's holes in them to ensure breathability. And I already tore it, but as you see, this is pulled to the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to talk about this so-called 10-hour pad. And this has been soaking about 10 minutes. And yet I want you to see it still has water. It's not very absorbent.
Not at all.
And the longer I let this sit, you will see it change colors, and that's the bleach that's coming out of it. Okay. And this one has literally been in here just a couple of minutes, and we have literally taken a liquid and turned it into a solid.
Excellent. Cool to the touch.
It's not wet, but cool. So that ensures that we stay cool as opposed to overheating. A lot of women who are postmenopausal or menopausal that have hot flashes, we've been getting testimonials that they don't have hot flashes when they wear the pads, and they're wearing them for just, some are just wearing it so that they have that relief. Then there's others that have incontinence issues, and they just want something there to catch the urine and so that they don't smell it, or other people don't smell it on them. So that's basically our demo for the Now We Know awareness campaign. And so Dr. Malloy has some additional information about all of the ingredients that he's going to share with you, and then also talk about prostate care awareness and the right to fight.
Excellent demo. Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And as always, I enjoy presentations because I learn something each time, and it also reinforces the importance for everyone to understand that, now we know and we have options that we really didn't have before. The options that we had were really all the same, which means it was no option, okay? And so it was eloquently described, the demonstration. I really don't have to say anything, because when a woman is actually looking for a sanitary napkin, she's looking for something that is going to do its job. And its job is to absorb the fluid that comes out of her every month during her cycle and make her feel as comfortable as she can under those conditions. And unfortunately, the women up until now have had to use products that stated what their benefit was, and since there was no real option, as I mentioned before, women had to accept that. But now we have this pad, and you saw the absorbency. You saw the fact that this is an 8-hour pad, okay? And you really can't even call it an 8-minute pad because it really has done nothing. And this is what you really want. Now, let's speak about, well, what I like to speak a few minutes about is what I call the magic strip. And I don't mean magic in the sense that it's not real. It's magic in that what it has done to change the lives of so many people that it almost seems like magic. There's some ingredients in this strip, and this strip is nothing more than impregnated with ingredients with nanotechnology that has allowed science, okay, to do things that are not just with this pad, but nanotechnology has embraced our culture as a means to providing chemicals and ingredients to our benefit without causing any harm and with ease. So in this strip that's on the pad, there are primarily 3 ingredients. And I say ingredients, you can use any term you want, but the bottom line is it's an ingredient that together promote health and wellness, okay, to the woman. So I'm using ingredients in that particular sense. First, nanosilver. And nanosilver is nothing new. Nanosilver, well, silver itself has been around for centuries. Silver itself is a metal, okay, that has been shown when used in a commercial sense, okay, is an anti-infective. And I say anti-infective as opposed to saying antibacterial because it will fight almost any type of organism, okay, that can cause us harm, whether it's a fungus, whether it's a virus, whether it's a parasite, or whether it's a bacteria. And as a matter of fact, when people are admitted to burn units, the first thing they do is they put something called silverdene ointment. Okay, now that ointment is a colloid, which means it's a larger mass of silver, okay, because it's an ointment that you just apply to the wound. This is not colloidal, okay, this is nanotechnology. So these are nanoparticles of silver, okay, on this strip, but it still provides the anti-infective ingredient that helps a woman. We know that when a woman has a cycle, its blood's going to come out, okay, so that's her cycle. But what comes out in that blood is bacteria. And I don't mean to say bacteria in the sense that there's something wrong with that woman or she has an infection, but it's bacteria that's normally in the vagina. Bacteria is there to keep the pH balance of the vagina at a certain level such that when she is interested in being impregnated, that sperm enters into an environment that's conducive for the sperm to continue its migration up into the uterus to the fallopian tubes where conception occurs. So its purpose is actually physiologic. However, when that same bacteria that's in an environment where it's supposed to be now comes out of that environment and is sitting on a pad, okay, the pads that we've had no other option but this, that is already containing chemicals, already containing ingredients that are not conducive to a woman's health. Now you have this bacteria in a new environment, not the environment that it's supposed to be in. And so you can see how that bacteria could also cause it to grow to a point where now it's acting differently because it is on the outside of the woman's vagina, not inside where it's doing what it's supposed to do physiologically. And this is why some women will complain of 2 things. During the cycle and after the cycle, they'll notice an odor, and the odor is nothing more than the byproducts of the bacteria, okay? And second, irritation, because now you have bacteria that's sitting on the outside, growing and pressed up against the vulva, okay, causing, after X X number of hours, not to mention days, in irritation. So that irritation and the odor are two things that a woman will complain of, and hopefully, okay, with our pad, we know that it will prevent some of those things, primarily because of just the nanosilver. Now, that's just the nanosilver. I have two more things to talk about, but just the nanosilver itself is going to help with two of the things that women complain about using the conventional pads. Okay, let's move from nanosilver. Let's talk about negative ions. Now, negative ions is so important, and it's the breadth of information on it is so broad and wide that I could probably spend a half hour, 40 minutes just talking about negative ions. So I'm going to try to focus my talk right now on negative ions with respect to the Cherish pad. Negative ions are in the air, okay? And we have positive ions, negative ions. And the positive ions are the ions that are primarily associated with odors, fumes, associated with a lot of electricity, like from your laptop screens, from your TV, from your radio, from your air conditioner. Positive ions do not have a health benefit. If anything, they can affect the health in an adverse way because of what they do when they get into your system. They make you feel drowsy, they make you feel drained. And so this is why when you're in front of a laptop for 5, 6, 7 hours, you can feel being drained because the positive ions have been bombarding you for so long that the body has no way of fighting those. Okay, so that's what positive ions do. Negative ions, let's first talk about how they act with positive. As you know, you take a negative, you take a positive, you put them together, you have neutral. And what happens is those particles of positive ions then flow to the ground. So you've taken this adverse element, positive ions, you've added now something positive, something like it's negative but has a positive effect, and that it's removing the positive ions. And so what it's doing is it's making you feel generally better. And this is why when you hear people talk about the fact that they feel totally different, they have a different attitude, they have almost like a euphoria, okay, it's because the positive ions that would normally be in the environment have now been negated by negative ions, and those negative ions, the excess negative ions that are coming from this algae strip, are actually making that person feel better because a couple of things are happening. The negative ions, we know, once they get into the body, actually cause blood vessels to expand. When blood vessels expand, we know that we're increasing oxygenation to the tissues. So that area, okay, is now getting extra. I say extra because it wasn't getting it before you had this strip. It's getting extra oxygen, which is actually making that vagina heal better, feel better, which means it's going to have less irritation, less inflammation. When you hear women talk about the fact that their cramps have been less, or their bleeding has been less, there is a true biological, physiological explanation just for the negative ions. Because when you have this oxygenation to the tissues and the lining of the uterus is what's being repaired during a woman's cycle, you have like a catalyst, a boost to help that repair, so that repair occurs faster, and therefore her cycle is going to be shorter, and because it has kind of an anti-inflammatory effect, her cramping is going to be less. So when you hear those testimonials, there is a true explanation for it. It's not a placebo effect. It's not the fact that the woman has heard that the pad is going to do that. There is science behind why she feels the way she does. Negative ions, which you can get them from naturally from being around the beach or mountaintops or waterfalls, and that's why people feel so much better, because it's giving that euphoric feeling. But you can also artificially have negative ions when you step in your shower. When you step in your shower, this is why you feel so great in the morning, okay, is the fact that the negative ions from that shower have now penetrated your body, increased the oxygenation to tissues, okay, including your brain, and that's why you feel relaxed, as opposed to how agitated and you felt, okay, when you have the positive ions. It just makes you feel so uncomfortable. So ionizing, okay, that's artificial way of producing these negative ions. Okay, so I've talked about the beaches and the mountaintops, okay, and I've talked about in the shower and the water, but they are ionizers, and they use those ionizers in hospitals all around the world. Okay, the ionizers actually infuse negative ions into the operating room, into intensive care units, into recovery rooms, and the purpose of that is to help the healing process from the surgeries that people have had. So we know that negative ions, scientifically, biologically, physiologically, have a benefit to the body. And so that negative ion, okay, is sometimes confusing to explain. That's our infrared technology. Again, using nanotechnology, okay, they have been able to infuse this far infrared. And when I say far infrared, okay, it's a nanoparticle of thermal, and make sure I say this to you, thermal radiation, okay? So it's not radiation that you hear about people getting when they have an x-ray done or a CAT scan done, okay? We're talking thermal, it's heat. The body, all of us, actually emit far infrared technology. We all emit, okay, thermal energy. And this is why when you hear about people healing by touch, okay, or healing by approximate touch, it's the actual infrared from your body that's going into another person that's able to cause healing. So that, again, and there's plenty of information if someone wants to do some additional research about the ability of infrared technology and infrared from the human body healing, okay, another person. And it's also kind of, it goes hand in hand with the mind to matter phenomena, where we know that the mind has the energy, okay, to cause matter to do things. Well, that's essentially what infrared technology is doing. It's actual heat, thermal heat. They're able to measure the temperature, okay, on the skin and into several centimeters beyond the skin, a definite temperature change when infrared technology fabrics, okay, on the case of the algae strip, is actually up against the skin. Now that you kind of understand kind of what it does or how it's applied, let's talk about actually how it works. Okay, once this infrared gets into the skin, it then kind of acts like, if you can imagine taking a Motrin and making it a vapor. If you can imagine Motrin pill that we take for pain and making it a vapor, that is what infrared technology does. It's an anti-inflammatory. It actually can go into the skin and actually alleviate pain. And this is why when you hear people speak of taking these algae strips and putting them on their heels, or putting them at the bottom of their feet, or putting them on their head because of migraine headaches, or putting them on an arthritic part of their body, okay? It works. They're already using the same technology, not just with this particular algae strip, but they actually have blankets, they have wristbands, they have a lot of items, they have belts that are infused with this technology used just as an anti-inflammatory. So again, what we're speaking about in the Cherish pad is nothing that is new. It's technology that's out there. It's just that no one in this particular country has thought about utilizing it in an area that causes women most of their distress during their menstrual cycle. I mean, women accept the fact that they know they have to have a cycle. That's part of nature. But do they have to have these cycles with pain? Do they have to have these cycles with excess bleeding? Do they have to have these cycles with a pad that can barely hold the menstrual flow that comes out of them? Do they have to have a cycle that they always have to worry anyone else is maybe perceiving odor that they may be perceiving? Do they have to have this feeling of possible embarrassment every single month? Okay, which is what some women, that's their life. And now we have the ability to alleviate those aspects. Now we're not trying to stop a woman from having a cycle. No, that's not the goal. But the goal is to take something that she has to endure every single month, okay, for 20, 30, maybe even 40 years, and try to make her feel better, let her be healthier, okay, and at the same time, as mentioned during the demonstration, have a pad that basically works better. And that's our goal. And it's not only to try to make sure that people understand there is another option, but to understand that it's not just about selling or telling people about another pad, it's about promoting their health. Because let's face it, our young people are our future. Our young people are going to be the ones who are primarily going to be using these pads for 30, 40 years from now. And we don't want them necessarily to have to be plagued with a lot of the illnesses that women have had to, well, they've suffered with, okay? Not necessarily saying that it has come from the other pads, but we don't know where it's coming from. We know that the other pads have ingredients that have been shown to be unhealthy to a woman. So at least we remove, okay, what we know can cause a problem. Not just removed it, but then we replaced it with something that has definite scientifically proven health benefits. So to me, it's a no-brainer to definitely consider the Cherish pad, okay, when you are thinking about utilizing something that's going to make you feel much better. Thank you.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the prostate?
Okay. The prostate, first of all, we a lot of times we talk about women and breast cancer, and rightfully so. They are the matriarchs of the world. They are, as far as I'm concerned, super beings of the world. When a woman goes through, things can't even fathom or imagine. They hear about it and they talk about it, but they really can't imagine what it's like to live the life that a woman has to live with. Okay, just part of her normal routine, as we've already talked about with the cycle. And so breast cancer, we know, is a big enemy. We have Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Everyone knows about the pink ribbon. But what's also as important, the number of men who are acquiring prostate cancer. Okay, the numbers are now like 1 in 6 men will get prostate cancer. If you have a family member, brother, son, father, grandfather, then your chances have been knocked down to maybe 1 in 2 and 1 in 3 of getting prostate cancer. Now, you don't hear, fortunately, about the deaths of people with prostate cancer as you hear breast cancer, primarily because prostate cancer is a slow-moving tumor, and men may have symptoms that will prompt them to see a urologist, okay, whereas women may have a lump in their breast, not even realize it's there, and so when their diagnosis is made, it's usually more advanced. just BPH, that's great. Okay, if it doesn't progress, but we don't have an addition to prostate cancer. So what can you do, okay, to try, okay, to help that prostate gland along the way? Well, there are some foods, there are chemicals, there are ingredients again that we know have a positive effect on the prostate gland as far as cutting down its growth, cutting down the inflammation, okay, and therefore at least providing that man, okay, with some benefits, okay, that if not, he's going to have as far as adverse, as far as decreased urinary streams, frequency of urination, sometimes pain with urination, sometimes the inability to void, how they actually had to categorize themselves because they were not able to because the prostate gland was so large. So we know that there are ingredients, and we have Nspire is a prostate care plus called Max Life. Now I'm just going to read on here real quick, and then I'm going to talk about each one of them. Okay, the 4 things, and some of these things people have heard about before: saw palmetto, okay, beta-cisterol, okay, quercetin, and lycopene. Okay, lycopene, let's talk the bottom word for it. Lycopene is what you commonly see in any of your, let's call it, your colored vegetables, but primarily in tomatoes or any products of tomato sauce, tomato soup, and they know that lycopene has the ability to shrink the prostate gland. They also know that lycopene has been shown, okay, in clinical trials where they have been able to show a reduction in the incidence of prostate cancer in those individuals that have been on lycopene high diets, or if they've taken the supplement. Now, the supplement in Max Life, okay, contains the amount of lycopene that has been shown to be very effective. Now, I tell everyone when I talk about Max Life, hey, this is great, but you know what? In addition to this, try to also include in your diet as much as you can tomatoes, tomato sauce, because it's nothing, you cannot take too much of something in this particular case that's good. So that's the lycopene. Quercetin has been shown, and there have been some studies recently where quercetin has actually been used for individuals who have prostate cancer, where the prostate cancer has now caused metastases. When they've gone through everything else, they've gone through radiation, surgery, there have been instances where they've put individuals on quercetin and have shown that quercetin has been effective. And of course, nothing is 100%. Quercetin has been effective in treating individuals who have metastatic prostate cancer. So again, it's something that is already in Max Life, and we know that it can decrease the incidence of benign prostatic hypertrophy. And I don't want to stand here and say that everyone who gets BPH gets prostate cancer, because that's not the case. Nor am I saying if you even have to have BPH to get prostate cancer. But we know that 50% of men are going to have BPH, and we know there's a considerable number of men who are going to have prostate cancer. So why not be on something, okay, that we know has a benefit, okay, without any adverse side effects from it, that nor lycopene. The third one you've probably heard a lot about anyhow, okay, and that's saw palmetto. Saw palmetto has been around for years as a way of treating benign prostatic hypertrophy. There have been tons of studies, and there have been some studies that have said it has not had much effect, and there have been equal or more studies that have shown that saw palmetto has an effect in helping BPH. It's been around, okay, it is safe, it is something that most men take just on their own, but it is another one of the ingredients days in max life. And the last one is beta-cisterol, and beta-cisterol is actually the ingredient within saw palmetto, okay, that has the main benefit of treating the prostate itself. And so the beta-cisterol, okay, is that part that cuts down the inflammation, okay, within the prostate gland, also helps to shrink the prostate gland. So you have the saw palmetto, its main ingredient, okay, that's been added to this independently, quercetin, that has already been shown to treat prostate cancer, and lycopene, which is a vegetable that gives the coloring that we know has a benefit against benign prostatic hypertrophy, as well as prostatitis. And prostatitis is nothing more than inflammation of the prostate. Now, not as many men will have that occurring in a lifetime, but some do, okay? And so now we have something that can also help with that as well. So for men, okay, to me, since we know that a large percentage of us are going to be afflicted with benign prostatic hypertrophy, and unfortunately, a significant number of us are going to be afflicted with prostate cancer, then do the best you can to give your prostate the best health ingredients that you can. And so to me, again, this is a no-brainer, okay? This is something that should definitely be taken by every man who has a concern about his prostate. And that is mine.
Excellent. I'd like to ask you about, as far as the age range,
Okay.
what would you say would be the best age range for them to use
To begin using
supplement?
Okay, the question was, what would be the best age range for a man to get started on the supplement? I would say there is no age. I mean, when I say no, they can start at age 20. Okay, there's nothing in here that's going to cause any sort of problems if someone starts at 20, 25. However, the prostate gland is there from birth. Okay, the prostate gland, as you get older, okay, will move towards those two things I mentioned. Well, it seems to me it's like the sooner you put something into the system that's preventative, okay, the better chance it has to prevent the problem. Okay, so I would say to someone 25, 30, if you were asking me to throw out a number, but you know, we know of people. I had a colleague, and I said I had because he has died. He was an OB/GYN doctor in Columbus, Georgia, who died of prostate cancer in his 40s. Okay, so if he died in his 40s, he may have had prostate cancer, for all we know, maybe even in his late 30s. Okay, because we don't necessarily know when it actually was there. We know prostate cancer is a slow-growing cancer, so it wasn't like if he died at age 49 that he probably was afflicted with the disease when he was 48. He probably had the disease for a period of time. And so to me, okay, the sooner someone gets on something that can prevent problems with the prostate, the better.
Okay, what if someone's already beginning to have some issues with their prostate? What would be some of the symptoms that they should pay attention to?
Okay. The question is, if someone has, what would be the symptoms that could tell a man something may be going on wrong with your prostate? Okay. Well, the first one, the obvious one, is going to be the stream is definitely going to be weaker. Okay. The man will definitely notice that the stream is weaker. The second thing he may notice, and that he's having more hesitation, is taking him longer to actually start his urine flow. Okay, and because the stream is weaker, and the fact that it's he will notice that when he would go to the bathroom, where whatever he had to do may have taken a minute, he may find himself in the bathroom 4 or 5 minutes. So he'll be able to tell this is not normally what my routine is. So those are the two things, a weakened flow and difficulty, okay, to get started. The third thing that he may notice is getting up in the middle of the night, okay, to go to the bathroom. Because of the fact that he's not maybe emptying his bladder completely, the prostate sits, okay, right under the bladder, okay? And so what's going on is putting pressure and it's making him feel as though he needs to go to the bathroom. So when he gets in bed, okay, at 2 o'clock in the morning, he has that sensation because when the bladder is filling up, if there wasn't an enlarged prostate, the bladder could fill up, he can wake up in the morning and go to the bathroom. But in the middle of the night, if the bladder fills up and it's hitting up against his prostate, that's going to wake him up and make him, hey, you gotta go to the bathroom, okay? Because it's giving him that false sense that his bladder is full because the prostate is taking up some of the space in that bladder, okay? So where that prostate, it's the anatomical position of the prostate that causes the symptoms. The fact that it sits there at the bladder neck, okay, is why it's difficult for the urine to go through. Okay, so that's the hesitation. The fact that it's also making that urethra narrow explains why the streaming, okay, is weaker. Okay, the fact that it is pushing up against the bladder explains why when his bladder is full, it's less full, okay, when he doesn't have an enlarged prostate. It means he has to go to the bathroom more frequently, and it can be any time. So that's something else he will notice, that getting up in the middle of the night. Fourth, which tags right along with what I just said, just the fact that he has to go more often, okay? He'll have that sensation that he has to go more often. And the fifth one, a lot of men will experience is urgency, okay? They'll feel, hey, not only do they have to go, they have to go. Okay, I mean, it's one of those things where before, if he was sitting at a dinner table, he may be able to finish. If he had the urge to urinate, he could finish his meal, excuse himself, and go to the bathroom. Now, if he's sitting at the dinner table and he gets that urge, he has to excuse himself right then. Okay, if not, he may have an accident. Okay, so and I'm glad you asked me that question because, you know, there's such a thing in medicine, it's called using a medicine off-label. And as an example, what I mean by that is when the drug Valium first came out, it was approved by the FDA as a muscle relaxant. That's what the FDA approved it for. But then people found out that it was a great anti-anxiety medicine, so doctors were giving it to patients and they would say, I'm using it off-label, which means this is not what the FDA approved it for, but we know it can do that. I use that analogy with the Cherish pad, okay? That, you know, I talk to men, okay, those who have BPH, those who recently had prostate cancer with surgery, that, you know what, if you think that you may be one who may lose some urine, okay, because of whatever the circumstances may be, you may be a truck driver driving across the country, you may be someone who's in rush hour traffic, you may be just maybe an issue where you know that you have had a few little accidents, okay, guess what? Use a Cherish pad. I mean, put the Cherish pad in your underwear, okay? I mean, no, you're not having a menstrual cycle.
Swallow your ego.
Right. You are having fluid. That's how you look at it. Fluid is coming out of you, okay, and it is annoying and uncomfortable. So guess what? Put a pad. They have the liners, okay? You don't have to put in the overnight, okay, or the days. You can just put a liner inside your underwear to be able to catch any of that urine that may come out in those unforeseen circumstances. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? You know, get past the fact that it is a panty liner and think of the fact that it's making you feel comfortable now, that you have a backup just in case you cannot get to the bathroom. And every man out there who has BPH has experienced an episode where they didn't quite make it to where they needed to go. Okay, so I'm just keeping it real. Consider using the Cherish pad, okay, to help you.
Okay. And so if a person, a man has had prostate cancer surgery, would taking the Max Life Prostate Care Plus help them, lessen their symptoms as far as the side effects?
If the prostate gland is gone, now it's interesting that you say that because we're talking about two different men here. If we're talking about the man who's had a radical prostatectomy or a prostatectomy where the prostate gland is gone, then Max Life isn't going to do a whole lot with respect to the prostate. There are probably some other benefits of being on mycopene and quercetin, but as far as those benefits for the prostate's gone. However, you bring up a good point. For those men who have received the seeds, okay, for those men where they did not have to undergo a prostatectomy, but actually have what they call radiation seeds implanted into the prostate gland, okay, to destroy the cancer, they still have a prostate, okay? It's still there. The disease is gone, but the gland is still there. So for those men, taking Max Life probably would have some benefit, okay? Exactly how much, I don't know, okay, specifically, but the gland is there. This is healthy for the gland, okay? So there's no way this can't have some benefit for that particular man, okay, who doesn't undergo the prostatectomy, but undergoes the seeds, okay, which means the gland is still present. So that's a very good question.
Thank you. Okay. You got anything?
Any other questions?
I think you covered just about everything.
Well, I tried. I tried. And again, I always enjoy
So
speaking.
it's no doubt whatsoever their prostate will enlarge.
Just, again, 50% of men will have benign prostatic hypertrophy, BPH. Okay? Those stats are out there. Okay? Now, how bad it will vary. Okay? To the point where some men may have a lot of the symptoms that I was asked to describe. Whereas some other men may just notice just a weakened stream. Okay? They may not notice anything else. But 50% of them will have benign, as 1 out of 2, or as I like to say, every other. Now, that's one issue. Okay? But the cancer, 1 out of 6 men will develop prostate cancer. Okay, that's a significant number. That's 16-point-something% of men. Okay, and if you have a close relative, then you're down to almost 50%. And personally, I can speak of that because I have a father with prostate cancer, a brother with prostate cancer, and I developed prostate cancer. Okay, and my urologist told me years ago, he said, look, I'm just keeping it real. You're a physician, I'm a physician. Okay, there's a strong probability, okay, not possibility, a strong probability that you will develop prostate cancer. The key is catching it early so we can treat it effectively. Okay? And who knows? I'm not going to stand here and say that if I had taken Max Life, I would not have gotten it. But who knows, okay, what something like Max Life may have done for me if I had taking it, especially with me knowing that I have family members. Okay, so kind of piggybacking her question and on top of how young, okay, let's face it, if I'm 25 years old and I know that my grandfather had prostate cancer and my father had prostate cancer and I have an older brother who has benign prostatic hypertrophy and I'm 25 years old, I should start taking Max Life. I should start taking Max Life. Okay, so sometimes you have to kind of look at the big picture and you be able to say, look, I mean, the writing's on the wall, okay, so let me do what I can at least do, okay, to decrease the incidence, okay, and so to me, yeah, that would be a perfect time when you have to kind of look at that person's history. I mean, we hear all the time about women, okay, with the BRCA test now to determine what your risk is for breast cancer and ovarian cancer, and we're seeing all the time now, okay, women who are finding out that they have a strong probability of developing breast cancer who are having what we call prophylactic mastectomies, okay, they're having their breasts removed, okay, because they feel that the incidence or the chances or the probability of them developing breast cancer is so high, okay, that they rather eliminate that by having what's called a prophylactic mastectomy. And I say prophylactic meaning that they don't have it at that time, okay, they're doing it to prevent it from happening. So that's, and to me, you know, I'm not going to stand here and say this will prevent prostate cancer, but at least if you know you're at high risk, why not at least take a supplement that has benefits, proven scientific benefits to help the prostate gland.
All right.
Also, with regards to seeing doctors, we know that our men tend not to necessarily have physicals each year, maybe not as frequent as maybe a woman, but and I think the fear is if they find something wrong, what it would do to their mindset in terms of being the provider, not being able to provide anymore, or even the fear of maybe there will be something. What are the testings? What most of them, men think still to this day that they're going to be poked and prodded and but we're in the 21st century. What are the testing? What's the testing, or how do they go about testing for prostate?
Okay. But before I even address that, you started off with a point that's extremely important, and that is men and health. I believe that there is a culture, okay, indoctrinated in us as men that we are the super being. And you heard me say in the beginning of my talk, no, the woman is. Okay, the woman gets poked and prodded all the time. Okay, the woman has her body changed all the time. The woman actually has a live being growing inside of her, okay, that she has to bring forth. Okay, a woman has hormonal changes in her life, okay, that men never experience. But when you really think about it, and I think it's that indoctrinated culture that since men don't go through any real changes, from puberty to when they depart, the only thing that some men will notice is that they get gray hair, they get bald, they may have erectile dysfunction, but they don't watch their bodies, okay, change because they don't get pregnant. They don't bleed, okay, and not to sound gross, but they don't bleed through their penis every single month. They don't have cramps associated with that bleeding. okay, they don't have any of those things. So in their mind, I think they grow up in life thinking that they are healthy.
Yeah, they
Overall, they're healthy. Okay? When they see like the breast cancer awareness, okay, and when they hear about their mother with high blood pressure and diabetes, okay, they, I think, feel, oh, men are healthy. That's why we can play football. That's why we can drive trucks across the country. That's why we can lift buildings in a single bound. Okay? Men overall do not feel that they are capable of getting the illnesses that warrant them having annual exams. And this is why they don't. Okay? I think it's just something that is brought up. Their mothers maybe took them to a pediatrician till they were 9, 10 years old, and then maybe they felt a little embarrassed because, let's face it, most of pediatricians are females. So when they got into puberty and they starting to become aware of themselves, they didn't necessarily want that woman examining them, and so they were already playing soccer, football, or basketball, and so the mothers felt that they were healthy, and they never see a doctor again until they have chest pains in the emergency room.
And another thing, while you're mentioning that, it's very rare that you see a father take their son to the doctor.
Okay.
The father's not involved in that realm, so when they get older, they think, oh, I ain't gotta go. That was the thing what I did with my mom. I mean, just by listening to you, it seemed like that's something that they really didn't get involved in, so they don't feel that they gotta go. That was when they was young or whatever.
Well, why didn't? Well, if that father didn't go to the doctor,
He was working.
why would he now think that it's appropriate to take his son? Okay. Plus, we can get into the cultural dynamics. I'm going to get back to her question. The cultural dynamics of who takes the child to the doctors and things like that. However, okay, so it's for a prostate. I tell people that that little jingle that's out there, 15 minutes can save you a certain percentage of your insurance, whatever. I had a jingle that said 15 minutes could possibly add 15 years to a man's life. Okay? And what I mean by that is if a man went to the doctor and had his blood pressure checked, okay, gave a urine sample, okay, gave a stool sample, okay, had his rectum examined to see if his prostate is enlarged, okay, those 3 or 4 things I mentioned wouldn't take more than 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And what the doctors, the information that can be gathered from those 15 minutes can possibly add 15 years to a man's life. So there are 2 things when we get real specific with the prostate. I mentioned one already when I said the digital exam, okay, and to feel the prostate. Nothing beats that, okay? Nothing in medicine beats what you can see or what you can touch. Okay, now, that's not saying that the technology that we have, MRIs, CAT scans, okay, aren't beneficial. Of course they are. Oh, of course they are. But the fact you can see something, when a woman stands in the mirror, and if she sees that one breast doesn't look like it did, okay, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, nothing beats that, okay? Okay, if a man, okay, can see that his urine stream isn't what it used to be, if a man can see that his stools have changed their color, okay, these are things that are real. These are things that people have and see and can experience every day. So nothing beats having someone, a urologist or your internist, actually feeling that prostate gland, okay? It's easy to feel, so it's not like it's difficult, and yet it's uncomfortable. But you know what? this goes in us once, sometimes twice in a year. And it's in there for a minute. It's not like it just goes in and comes back out again, okay? And we have to endure that. And you're talking about an index finger, okay? A speculum is that wide, an index finger, okay? Really? Okay? So to me, if men understood that, again, here we go again, what women go through to preserve their health, then they would understand why women, on average, live longer than men. Okay? We both come out the same way, but the health track that a woman follows and the health track that a man follows are separate. And it's not because someone's making him not go to the doctor and someone's making her go to the doctor. It's just that she understands and he may be in denial. Okay? And that's the problem. Okay? Men have to become more aware of the benefits of having good health. And no matter how you may feel, and that's the other issue. Okay? Men don't necessarily have symptoms that tell them something is wrong. You can walk around with your blood pressure 210 over 140 and feel fine today and stroke out tonight. Okay? So, okay, you can feel fine today and wonder why when you see your doctor that they tell you that there's some decrease in your kidney function. And oh, by the way, Mr. Smith, your blood sugar is 400. Your hemoglobin A1C, which is an indication of what your sugars have been like over a period of time. Okay, it's not like you just maybe splurged on some milkshakes and chocolate cake that day. Okay, when your hemoglobin A1C is 11, okay, and then he has to tell the man, and your kidney functions are not what they should be, okay, it becomes a shock because I think we have this tendency of thinking that something's going to tap us on our back. Your blood sugar is elevated, your blood pressure is elevated. No, it's not. But guess what? If the man went every year for 15 minutes, okay, he might add 15 years to his life. Okay, so mainly the other thing that they can do is a blood test called PSA, prostate specific antigen. So when I mentioned the 15 minutes might be for those men between the ages of 15 and 40. Okay, so you add another 60 seconds, 1 minute, okay, and draw a PSA, okay, which stands for prostate specific antigen, okay, which is an antigen that's produced by the prostate gland that is associated when it's in high numbers with an increased risk or possibility of having prostate cancer. It doesn't mean that you do, because you can have an elevated PSA with prostatitis. You can have an elevated PSA for no reason. But at least if it is elevated, it at least lets you know maybe something else needs to be evaluated. Okay, it may be nothing more than the urologist saying, hey, come back in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, let's repeat it. Okay, and see if it was just a spurious elevation at this visit, or if it's a sign or signal that something is going on wrong down there. Okay, so PSA, a digital exam, and being aware of your own body functions, to me, is the key, okay, of evaluating the prostate gland.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Anything else? Any other questions?
You got anything you can do?
I think he covered it all.
Well,
Covered it all. Men need to go. They need to get that checkup.
They do. They do. And one last thing I wanted to say. I was speaking to a patient just this morning, and it's it's, I'm saying this because it's, again, something people can relate to. And I was driving around Atlanta, and I've been in Atlanta 37 years, almost 38 years. And I am amazed at how many dialysis centers, okay, I'm now seeing versus what I saw back in 1981, 1991, and maybe even year 2000. And here it is 2018, and there are areas in Atlanta where you have dialysis centers like you have McDonald's. Okay, and I wonder, when people drive by them, do they really understand what they're driving by, or they just see it just as a building that, you know, that someone goes for something? And probably the average person may not even know what the word dialysis means. Okay, they drive by and say, "Oh, this is one of those," and they may not even be able to pronounce it. That's one of those D places. And then they may see another one, maybe 8 blocks away. Oh, another one of those D places. But you know, a lot of times we don't investigate. It's, you know, we just know that we've seen them. Obviously, as a such a high incidence of renal or kidney disease in Atlanta that they had to actually open up more centers, okay, to provide dialysis because of people's kidneys failing, okay? And we know as physicians, not the only reason, no, but the primary reason, okay, for kidney failure is diabetes and high blood pressure. And we, as African Americans, know that those are probably two of the main illnesses affecting our culture, okay? So, again, it's something when we drive by, we need to realize that someone's life has been permanently affected because of probably one or both of those conditions. And who knows, one or both of them may have been avoided just through knowledge and change of lifestyle. So I think when people drive by any dialysis center, it should be a wake-up call. It should be a wake-up call. Like, wow, there was one here 2 years ago, and there's one here, there's one 8 blocks over there, okay? There's something for us to think about.
Like a neighborhood store now.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's there. It's not like they're hidden. I mean, they're right there in front of us, okay? It's not like, I mean, there was a time when most dialysis units were inside of hospitals. So I could see when they were inside of hospitals, then you may not have been aware. But now, they're right up, they're not down some side street. They're on the major thoroughfares for people to see. Okay, and that should be a wake-up call.
Neighborhood kidney store.
Yeah, that should
It's
be a
sad,
wake-up
yeah.
call. It should be a wake-up call. Okay, that we should, if you talk about something closing, we should be working to close them, not to open them. Okay, that should be our goal. To see one of them, the building for sale. Okay, that would be a celebration. I mean, an actual celebration that people should actually go in front of that building and celebrate that that facility was no longer needed. Okay, so it's just, again, something we really need to be thinking about. Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you. Thank